And otherwise, let's give a very warm welcome to Connie Williams, who will be telling the story about Nonnie and Connie go to Florida.
Hello, I'm Connie. Nonnie, whose name is Connie, is my grandmother, and I am her namesake. Nonnie died a few years ago at the age of 102. For years and years, Nonnie, we didn't go out west. I know, I'm the only one, we didn't go out west. My family used to live in Atlanta, and my Nonnie lived in West Virginia. She and her other widowed friends would drive to Florida every fall to spend the winter in Florida. She had the biggest Cadillac money could buy, retrofitted for her because she was 4'8". She used to be 4'11", but over the years she shrunk. So to drive her car, you really needed to be 4'8", or it was really uncomfortable. Every winter, her friends would come down. They would stop and spend the night in Atlanta. They took about a week to a week and a half to get from West Virginia to Fort Myers, Florida, because that's what they liked to do. They liked to stop every day. I used to fly down every year and meet them there. They would get there. They would have just had their housekeeper come and clean the place, and then I would show up, they'd pick me up at the airport, I'd take them to the grocery store, help them all get their households set up for the winter. And it was really kind of nice, and they took me out and did fun things with me, so I really loved that. This particular year that I'm going to tell you about, I was 22. I had just gotten engaged to my husband. And I didn't want to make this trip because her friends weren't going to ride with her. I was going to have to go down with her. And I wanted to be with my fiance. I didn't want to spend 4 days on the road to Fort Myers, Florida with my grandmother because she doesn't drive on highways. She doesn't like highways. We drive the back roads. You see America that way. Oh, by the way, she also thought 22 was too young for me to be engaged. So she was angry with me. And I knew that 4 days in this Cadillac with her was going to be a really, really long time. We got in the car and pulled out of my parents' cul-de-sac. It was a circle to get to the front of the neighborhood. She said, "Which way do you turn to get out?" I said, "I usually go left," so she turned right. That told me what the trip was going to be. So we drove out of our suburb and through a couple of other Atlanta suburbs, and we had our first stop for coffee and a cigarette because she smoked, but she didn't inhale. And she lived to 102, so that's possibly why she lived to 102, because she didn't inhale. So we stopped. About an hour later, we stopped and got her some more coffee because she had gone through a thermos of coffee. The kind of coffee that we heard about that was really, really bad, that's the way she liked it. And we both drank from the same thermos because it would be a waste of money, really, not to do that. So we stopped about every hour to use the restroom, for her to have a cigarette, and to pull out another thermos of coffee. First day, we're driving and driving. She finally gets tired of driving, and she wants me to drive. I'm not 4'8", and yet I had to drive for only about an hour because we stopped every hour. But I drove with my knees almost at my chest, and we're going the back roads. And I'm going about 60 because this car is as big as two of mine wide. It felt like it anyway. And so driving along, and she helped point out everything that I needed to swerve around on the road for that hour, so it was really fun. That first day, we stopped in the place she always stopped at around 2 in the afternoon because we'd been driving all day. It was late. And so we checked into the Howard Johnson's. The same one she stayed at every year. And as we get to the front desk, everyone knows Nonnie. Everyone there knows Nonnie. And it's because she's been driving down there every year for all these years. Usually with her friends. This time she had her granddaughter, who she proceeded to tell the front desk clerk was getting married way too young. So the front desk clerk said, "Connie, and your granddaughter's name is Connie too?" And she said, "No, it's Connie Ann," because to my family I was doomed to be Connie Ann because she was first. She said, "So Connie, when are you going to have your toddy?" Because it's not really drinking, she's having a toddy, and that's what you do in the afternoon. And so we went to the room because the Howard Johnsons we were staying in did not have a bar, but we went to the room. Shortly, the front desk clerk, who happened to be the proprietor as well, had her fill in, came and had a toddy with us. And by the way, I was of age. I was 22, and she did, pour me a toddy, which felt really cool. But then we went to the Howard Johnsons. I had my fried clams, ice cream with ice chips in it. It was really fun. Went back to the room. She said, "Tomorrow while we drive, I'm going to give you some tips on marriage." And that's exactly what she did. And, I thought it was going to be an even longer day, but she taught me some things that were really kind of profound. The first one, and it's going to sound a little bit crude, but she said, "Always close the door when you go to the bathroom. You want to leave a little bit of mystery in your relationship." I didn't get that in so many ways for so long, but I kind of get what she meant. I get the point now. Let's see, she told me to always leave half the food on my plate. For one thing, I'd have another meal. I'd always know I'd have another meal. Plus, anything you do in moderation is okay. She had a point there. She said it's important to remember that in your marriage too, and to make sure your husband remembers it, because it's your job to take care of your husband. The most important thing she taught me was never give up my girlfriends, because your girlfriends will get you through anything and everything. Your husband will die, and her husband did when my mom was 2. Your kids will grow up and leave you. Mine, one has and one will, but your girlfriends will be there forever. And I don't know what I'd do without my girlfriends, and I guess there's a few men in my life I kind of like, but just a little. But we got to Florida, and as much as I hated so many things about that trip, I'll just really never forget the time she took to teach me things that she thought were important, that she thought she wouldn't have another chance to know, or to share with me. And I found out later her friends could have come with her that year. They flew down because she wanted to talk to her granddaughter one last time alone before I got married. And that's when Nonnie and Connie went to Florida. And here's Benji for a song.
Hello. Here you go, Kyle.
That was a short song. It was a song of silence.
It's all about the words you don't say.
These stories have been phenomenal. This is such a cool event. I love it. So thank you guys so much for coming here. Thank you for attending. Thank you for telling your story.